Labrit, and for the follow-up after me, maybe also Guten Morgen. My name is Jonas. I think it was standing somewhere there. We have here in the faculty, which tells already, I'm part of this house, part of the team built up by Jonas. We have another Jonas here, which will come later, who's coming later, who will be the other keynote speaker in the second part, together with his colleague and companion. Yes, I need actually to come back to the very beginning, when as to say, my vice boss, the vice rector, was so nicely talking about himself, the social scientist. So this will not be only architecture today. So here is the very social work scientist, so cannot be more down to earth. Yes, what we're doing now is, my home is my castle. I mean, it's difficult, Jonas, after your talk, I mean, you are expressing all my views, you're expressing all my wishes. There's only one difference. I have been live in Brixton as a 14-year-old. That was crazy. My parents were very angry. You need to imagine a 14-year-old German travels with a companion of 20 other punks up north to London and stands on the streets and fights with bobbies. That was not funny. That was, yeah. I got away with it. I could even leave the country. My home is my castle is very much building exactly on that what Jonas was talking about the ideas that David Byrne in the 70s expressed in so many songs and lyrics, and also in his artwork, his visual artwork, not to forget, he's a great painter. And this building that you see right now and right here is, that's a picture like 2 weeks ago, absolute actual. It's standing nearby Valmiera, nearby Brengoli. For Latvians, pretty famous for very nice craft beer, but also for different reasons. It's a beautiful landscape. But all around that landscape, you have many, many, many of these buildings. And for those non-Latvians, you can see down here a small little sign saying Padot. Yeah, it's for sure for sale. I mean, you can buy it if you want to. I don't really know what you want to do with it, but it's next to the bus stop, as you can see, very attractive. So what I want to do now in the next minutes is to take you away a little bit from architecture. I'm sorry for that. And I'm the first keynote speaker, and I'm immediately coming in and saying, in an architectural conference, in fact, the only international architectural conference we have annually in Latvia, and then I'm coming there and saying, like, no architecture. No, we turn to something very different, as the Monty Pythons would say. We're turning to the eyes of the social work on that theme of housing. And as much as I also will refer to, not so much actually, I'm not so much like on the literature here, only in one case, but as much as I'm also referring on the intellectual observations and academic observations, it's far away from academics. It's trying really to emphasize what is social work acting with and what we are confused with very often. And that what you described, Arthurs, in the beginning when everybody talks about architecture, you know, in this we share a thing. Everybody talks about social work and everybody knows exactly how to deal with I don't know, sick people or people with problems. It doesn't matter that you've been educated in it. It doesn't matter that you have really like a lot of praxis, but definitely a journalist knows it better or an architect knows it better. Okay, let's move in here. It's about the culture that I want to talk, but it's the culture of us, that what we are, that what we want to live, that what I very often also, thanks to students being here, actually many of you, it's very nice to see you, what I'm so often trying to communicate with you about also, that the culture is a very important, but we're not talking in this moment about the aesthetic culture, or we're not talking immediately about a design of something. We're talking of this everyday culture, that joy or hate or those problems that we are facing every day. And we are dealing with words. You were also referring to that, Jonas. In a 2013 TED Talk, like 13 years ago, I was talking about the city that is made through words, the story that makes the city. And exactly this is still my how to say, in German we would say Leitfaden. It's like the red thread through my life and through my practical life, my profession, in many ways. I mean, as one on the hand, as a social and cultural planner, or in the last years more and more involved here in the faculty as a lecturer or as a tutor, together with Effe, and Ilse. And the words are so important. The narrative is so important. I will explain you that in a pretty radical understanding. Welcome to those who are not Latvian or post-Soviet, we have to say. The word bomge is very familiar to you. Logically, isn't it? Yeah, nodding, for sure, it is. When we use the word, we are stigmatizing. It's not just a word, it's a stigmatize. It's a stigma, it's something that burns in a person afterwards. Even if the person is not present, we are stigmatizing the theme as such. So to be careful with words is very, very important. In the same time, I remember we had a short discussion in the office. Was it about Peterson and Žižek, wasn't it? Yeah, some days ago. And I got immediately emotional. And Jonas was sitting there, no, they are both provocating. Yes, they are, certainly. But they still keep it in a way on that level that they are not stigmatizing other people, because that is what you cannot do. And this is the danger. And we have to be very careful with that. I'm talking so much about it because there is one very important person to come. And that you will read or don't read, don't bother. I mean, yeah, just look on me, don't look there. Our stories, I will read that, are tales about the idea of life and living together. Stories of places, times, worlds, and life plans. I mean, some of us have plans, not everybody. From the master bedroom of the villa in Jomala to the cardboard mat at Stacias Laukums, or somewhere around there. Both are life worlds, and they are realities. And they have to do with what? With home. With the feeling of home. And when the home is the cardboard mat, probably even without a shelter, then that is a home when it's defined by the person as home in that moment. This is important. It's not that we should not try to get a better position and situation for the person and condition, but nevertheless, it's also to protect that minimum that the person has engaged to. And I think this realization is for us very, very, very important, especially in education, especially here at such a place. again, don't read that. I was really working on writing. I don't do that usually. It's very strange. This is, as many of you know who know me, this is not my thing so much, but suddenly I'm more like the writer, yeah. Maybe the theme really touched something in me. The main point here is that we are trying to understand how intense, how important the space is that we gain through our homes. This is our importance, however this home is looking like, because it's us. And that's what I mean with my home is my castle. It is our 4 walls, plus a roof on top of it, and hopefully some kind of floor under it that we are not standing in the cold or the wet. So the feeling my home is my castle, when the door closes, when you take a deep breath, throw your clothes in the corner, let go of everything and are simply angry or happy. You can scream, you can simply fall asleep. When you consider precisely and for yourself how significant these 4 walls and the roof over your head are, then you realize what task lies before us for the positive social development of our living spaces. This is our job together. Not only architects' job, also our job, very much actually. The responsibility that falls to every single person involved in the process of creating living space is almost indescribable. And I think we need to be aware of this when we talk about housing. Now, this is the only person that I mentioned today. Probably it has been, very unfortunate, approximately 3 weeks ago, the, I have to say, most important German influencer has died. He was philosopher and sociologist. Maybe many young people don't know him. But Jürgen Habermas, and without Jürgen Habermas, no social scientist, no sociologist, no philosopher, no anybody who is working with democracy and democratic development would have ever been able to continue thinking in the 20s and most of all also 21st century. Very lucky, he got pretty old, nearly 97 years, and he was active absolute until the last moment. And this is his central message. There are many other messages, believe me, but we don't dig now in philosophic theory. That would be crazy. But open communication makes democracy, and we need to communicate our issues free of fears. This is very, very important. Please be aware of that. We all of us have fears. Right? When you arrived today morning here, was there a fear? Something in the stomach somewhere? I was idiotically scared when coming down. Oh my God, I have to talk a keynote. Can you imagine me being scared, standing on the stage? I love to be here. Yes, I know. I'm a stage diva. But at the same time, I'm also scared. I'm sweating. Sure, I'm sweating. I'm a normal human being, blood. I mean, as much as it's still circulating, got a bit rotten from all the smoke and red wine. Yes, so these main issues that you see here, which are approximately in a ranking order also, from a social work scientific perspective. So for us, climate and energy is not #1 subject. For us, this is the #1 subject. And also for you architects, believe me. next to the climate. Because this is that what will really having the danger of being the biggest nuke you can ever imagine. When we are getting old, people like Jonas and I, we are same generation. When we are getting old, I mean we are old for sure, but when we are really getting old, we have the biggest cohort behind us. I'm not sure whether you understand what is a cohort. A cohort is one group of one generation. So we have the biggest cohort ever created behind us. We are millions, 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 millions. And you guys, I'm talking with the young people here, you need to kind of finance this. You understand that? We will sit in a wheelchair, we will have trouble, we don't know how to actually come from our 5th floor, somewhere in Imanta, down to the ground floor, because there is no elevator. Or if, then you don't come in there with a wheelchair. Definitely not. Impossible. If it at all works, if you're lucky. So, you understand me? It's troublesome, yeah? We need to deal with that. Climate and energy, economy and individual wealth, social security, housing, and for sure aggression. With that, I'm referring for sure also what currently is happening, which, believe me, most of all for us is not so much the fear about ourselves, but as we are the older generation, more about you, the young people, that you have to live this terrible war, or not only one war, many wars we are living in. Pictures coming now are mostly from a nice spot in Latvia, Slovakia. The cave, perhaps the first 3D print for a palace, a castle, a fortress, or a roof. So this is the Gutmann's cave in Sigulda, or nearby Sigulda. I just wanted to have a drawn image, so I decided for this one, and I didn't want to drive still to Sigulda. And the caves, they are enclosing, that's what I referred to, my own lyrics before, they are also like enclosing this idea of our fears and our weakness, because in our home, in our castle, we can live out, hopefully, our fears. Or we can face our fears and weaknesses. And now, just imagine, I call it being dependent. So you are sick. What is that when you are sick? What is the first thing? Ujis, what's the first thing when you are sick and where you want to be? You want to be under your cover. You want to be at home in your bed. You maybe have a trusted person nearby. You can scream, "No, give me a tea, help." So without proper home and castle, that gets difficult. And then my trust in my environment and in myself gets weaker and weaker and weaker. This is a picture. I can read for you if you can't. It's a motif done by Pete, 11 years old. I found that a couple of years back in my hometown in Germany. It's a small little project the municipality of Carmen did with some schools. And I fulfilled a dream of myself. Can you see the speciality in this picture? There's a tiny little somebody down here. So I brought Habermas and Linus in one presentation. I'm really proud of that. So that is what an 11-year-old imagines of a home. That was the task. They should paint, draw, do homes. So, welcome to the jungle, to the Latvian jungle, or this is my only quote, like to music, Dinus. So here we have Alex Rose. The forms of dwelling. There are a couple of them. They are not all of them, please. It's also, again, from our perspective, from a social service perspective. So you have the living, the apartment seeking, the apartment itself, the homeless, the one without the apartment, the renting, the owning, the shared living. I don't know how many students here are living in shared spaces. Lift up your arm. Nobody anymore. That's amazing. You're all having your own apartment? Oh my God. From the older generation, who lived during study times in shared flats? See? Can you see that? People, look on that. So we all did that. That was absolutely normal for us. This is a change. This is demographic change. This is a whole culture that changes. The flat communities are pretty much the same like the shared living. Then, for sure, housing association and housing cooperatives. And here I put really a line, a very strong line, because that is what we will come back to. Again, Slurka, Sunday afternoon. Now I will come to a couple of challenges for the last approximately 10 minutes, 7 minutes or what I have left. And these are the challenges that I don't immediately indicate for architecture. Please be absolutely aware of that. But architecture is part of this. First and foremost, these are challenges recognized by planners, social planners, cultural planners, urban planners, but somewhere then also for sure by architects. So number one, municipalities. Are we still really steering as municipalities? And I'm talking specifically now for sure in the Baltic states. Are we still steering the processes of urban development? Is it really the municipalities who are still having the ownership, the mental ownership on designing their cities, their towns, their communities? I would strictly say no. We left that point. We heard yesterday in Helena's fantastic workshop stories. I remember Dinus and I were sitting next to each other and simply thinking, oh my God, how is that possible? How at all these kind of strange rhetoric by municipalities is possible? So really, this is one of the biggest tasks that is waiting outside there, that municipalities start to steer their process again. It's their towns, they are the elected people. It's their administration paid by people's taxes. This is serious. We cannot just avoid that. The next subject, my goodness, people. Sorry, now comes the West German. I'm a bit arrogant on that place. Please, I mean, don't be angry with me, but cooperatives are not communism. Have you misunderstood something? Cooperatives are economical, clever methodologies in order to steer housing processes. You're all pointing fingers on Vienna, don't you? Vienna, the big city. Fantastic. You know what is that? Cooperatives. All the successful cooperatives in Italy, in Austria, in Switzerland, Stefan could talk about that after me. In Germany, massive. In the Netherlands, I think so, Dirk, right? Yeah. In Belgium, in France, everywhere. Do you think this is in Poland, post-socialist? Do you think this is just like a joke? So please, let's top down as a state. Estonia has started with it. Yeah, for sure, always Estonia. Estonia has started with this. Estonia started also to promote, also legally top down, the idea of cooperatives. This is one of our most important jobs, actually. Not your architects' jobs so much, it's more like politically engaged social planners. They have to deal with that. Densification. I know, urban planners love it for the last 1,300 years. Architects sometimes love it. You quoted David. I had massive discussions with him in the German railway, in the food compartment where we were sitting and drinking wine. And we were like both not really agreeing on one point, because at one moment densification is getting difficult and has to stop. We have to at one point recognize that the mantra of the 5, 10, 15-minute city is not everything. There is something more. People also need space to live. The social structural setup, this is something that is a challenge for us, most of all, for the social planners. Jomala, Slurka, Sundays. Yeah, and then one of the major questions that will also come in the end today in our panel discussion is the question on the quality standards. What we actually want to do with this housing. We just build, but then we are completely forgetting about the sustainable aspects, the ecological aspects, and we are completely forgetting about quality. So quantity instead of quality, that's a question mark. And the exploding costs. There, for sure, finances is asked. Economy is asked. Banks are asked. But also, again, support top-down is asked. And it was already pointed out by Dinas very, very, very intelligently. The living environment. We need to pay attention to the living environment. I go, these pictures back. People love to live there, I can tell you, but yeah, it's not the standards that we probably would ask for today. This is a former allotment garden area, nowadays also up north Latvia. Nowadays, it's a housing market, but wild, without really any planning. So, we need a shift, and we need that shift really very soon. And the shift is thinking and acting out of the thinking. Continuing as until now is not possible. That is for sure. The same as with climate change. There's no discussion. We need to change now. It gets more and more terrible. That was approximately 3:50 today morning, so, you know, it gets mad. So we jump over that. And then I want to finish with something which is, Vice Rector is sitting here, Madine is sitting here. My best friend, colleague, Effe is sitting here. I think we need another master study. We need to bring together again the professions that belong together. I was growing up in a house of architects and urban planners and spatial planners, and they had all education together, and they were educated 6, 7 years. We need architects understanding real spatial planning. Not urban planning, spatial planning. Land use, all the legal structures behind. and to design that, because that is an aesthetics. And we need architects who understand my job, really understand, not just in one lecture where I'm telling, I don't know, Ralph Sloma, where I'm telling you, hey, this is social planning. There needs to be something more. So, an idea to think about, believe me, I'm happy to support that. I'm in both of it for my whole life. So, I think this could be something to take away and take with you. This is a house I have been living in. I don't know if you imagine where that is. That's East Berlin. Some of the most beautiful flat I was ever living in, just to mention it. And my last slide, not last, but the last with words, is the first chance I have really on the stage to ever thank for the last 3-4 years being together with you guys. It's beautiful. Paldies.